The rugby world turns its eyes to Eden Park this Friday, July 18, 2025, as Samoa take on Scotland in a test match that promises fire, grit, and potentially, fireworks. While this isn't part of the Rugby World Cup, the stakes are far from low. This matchup is more than a routine fixture, it's a clash of tradition, pride, and positioning in the ever-important World Rugby rankings. For Scotland, it's a vital opportunity to gather points to cement their top 6 position heading into the 2027 World Cup draw. For Samoa, it's about reclaiming their identity as a feared Pacific Island force capable of toppling Tier 1 nations on the right day. With Eden Park's historic aura and thousands of passionate Samoan supporters expected to flood the stands, this matchup feels like a home game for Manu Samoa, despite being officially neutral ground. Scotland enters this game at a critical point in their 2025 summer tour. After a bruising but insightful 22-20 loss to Fiji and a more composed 26-15 win over the Maori All Blacks, questions remain about their depth without several first-choice stars, most of whom are currently with the British and Irish Lions. The squad traveling to the Pacific has leaned heavily on uncapped or fringe players, and while that offers development opportunities, it's also placed added pressure on team cohesion. Gregor Townsend has rotated his lineup in this series, trying to strike the right balance between experimentation and competitiveness. Unfortunately, the injury bug hasn't been kind, most notably to Tom Jordan and Jamie Ritchie, both ruled out of this contest due to knocks suffered against Fiji. Yet Scotland have a knack for defying odds in tight fixtures, often pulling ahead through patience and territorial control. On the flip side, Samoa come into this fixture with quiet momentum. Though their recent record reads inconsistently, with close losses to Japan and Fiji, and a gritty win over Tonga, the gap between them and their Tier 1 opponents is narrowing. The Manu Samoa setup has seen a significant injection of experience from players returning from Super Rugby Pacific and various European leagues. This mix of youth and veteran leadership has given head coach Vaovasamania Silala Mapuzua the flexibility to adapt game plans on the fly. The likes of Nigel Awong, Christian Liliifano, and Jack Lamb offer a wealth of leadership, physicality, and know-how in the toughest situations. And let's not forget Eden Park itself, a venue where many of these Samoan players grew up dreaming of playing, and where the crowd is expected to turn this into a quasi-home fixture. Samoa have also been training at altitude and implementing heavier contact sessions to mimic the physicality expected from Scotland's forward-heavy approach. From a statistical standpoint, this game is fascinating. Scotland holds a commanding lead in the historical matchup, winning 10 of their 13 encounters, including a 34-0 shutout at the 2019 World Cup. But statistics only tell part of the story. That 2019 clash came when Samoa were in transition and without many of their now key leaders. In more recent meetings, while Scotland still came out on top, the margins have been thinner. Scotland's average points scored across their last 5 matches is 25.0, but they're also conceding 26.4, a worrying sign. Samoa, similarly, averages 26.2 points for and 26.8 against. These near-identical numbers hint at a high-scoring, closely contested match. What might tip the scales is discipline. Scotland concede fewer penalties per match, 9.8, compared to Samoa's 12.2. In tight games, those numbers become critical. Every 3 points earned or denied adds up. Scotland's improved kicking range from Healy could help them punish undisciplined stretches from Samoa. Tactically, expect contrasting game plans. Scotland will aim to impose structure through their set piece, with a well-drilled lineout and strategic kicking from Ben Healy or Charlie Savala. Their game will lean heavily on forward dominance, territory accumulation, and minimizing unforced errors. With ball carriers like Matt Fagerson and breakdown experts like Rory Darge, they'll try to suffocate Samoa at the breakdown and keep the tempo in their favor. On the edges, Kyle Steyn offers a clinical finishing touch and solid defensive reads, giving them options when the game opens up. Expect Scotland to play narrow phases early before pulling it wide through looping plays involving their fullback and inside center. Samoa, on the other hand, thrives in chaos. Their most dangerous moments come in broken play. Expect them to avoid too many set-piece exchanges and instead look for turnover ball and counter-attacks. Christian Liliifano will be key in marshalling the backline, supported by power runners like Tumu Amanu and the electric Nigel Awong, who has 5 tries in his last 6 tests. The real question will be whether Samoa's scrum can hold its own. Against teams like Italy and Fiji, their front row has looked inconsistent. If Scotland can exploit this and win penalties at the set piece, it'll be a tough night for the Islanders. Samoa's back row is mobile and highly skilled at the jackal, so watch for how they contest Scotland's first and second phase ball. One of the most intriguing aspects of this match is the X-Factor matchup, Scotland's structure versus Samoa's chaos. Scotland's game thrives on control, pattern play, and territorial dominance. Samoa looks to break that pattern with explosive offloads, quick rucks, and punishing physicality in defense. The key battle will likely be in the back row. If Samoa's trio, Jack Lamb, Henry Stowers, and Alamanda Motuga, can win turnovers and disrupt Scotland's rhythm, they may swing the match in their favor. Conversely, if Scotland can slow the ball down and win the kicking battle, Samoa may struggle to build attacking momentum. Also worth noting is the bench impact. Scotland has opted for a 6-2 split, indicating a late-game forward push strategy. Player-wise, there are some standout names to watch. For Samoa, Theo McFarland is the heart of their lineout and a defensive rock. His matchup with Scotland's second row will be pivotal. Scrum half Jonathan Tomatine is another live wire, capable of launching attacks from the base or sniping through gaps when least expected. For Scotland, Rory Darge's turnover rate is among the best in the world right now, and his performance against Fiji was outstanding with 14 tackles and 3 breakdown steals. Ben Healy, expected to start at fly half, will need to deliver a mature performance under pressure. He's reliable off the tee but must control territory with his boot. Blair Kinghorn at fullback brings counterattack threat and aerial strength, crucial against Samoa's kicking game. The venue itself adds another layer of complexity. Eden Park is sacred rugby ground, and while it's neutral on paper, the crowd composition tells a different story. Auckland is home to a large Samoan community, and the atmosphere is expected to be electric and heavily partisan in Samoa's favor. That could rattle younger Scottish players, especially those not used to such intensity away from home. On the flip side, Scotland's coaching staff will prepare their team for this exact scenario. A well-drilled team with a clear game plan can block out the noise, and Scotland's reputation for resilience suggests they won't wilt under pressure. In fact, games like this often bring out the best in them, as shown in their gritty win over the Maori All Blacks despite being underdogs. From a betting perspective, there's value on both sides. Scotland sits as a 5.5-point favorite, with the moneyline hovering around 1.55 minus 180. Samoa is priced at 2.45 plus 145, which reflects the perceived gap in discipline and experience, but also acknowledges the crowd factor. Props like first try scorer are intriguing. Awong offers great value, as does Stain on the Scottish side. For total points, the 47.5 line feels slightly low given both teams average over 25 points per match recently. Live betting angles will be key. If Scotland controls possession early, expect odds to swing heavily in their favor. Conversely, if Samoa grab an early try, their emotional momentum could trigger an upset. So, what's the final verdict? Expect a clash of styles, with Scotland looking to dominate early possession and Samoa aiming for game-changing moments. The opening 20 minutes will be crucial. If Samoa can establish a physical edge and get the crowd involved, it could spell trouble for the Scots. But if Scotland keeps their heads and wins the territory battle, they'll have the edge in the final quarter. In a game this close, experience and structure usually prevail. Predicted final score: Scotland 27, Samoa 23. It may not be a World Cup match, but make no mistake, this is a defining game for both teams. Whether it's Scotland fine-tuning their second-tier depth or Samoa laying down a marker ahead of future Tier 1 challenges, Eden Park will witness a battle worthy of any global stage. From tactical breakdowns to emotional narratives, this match delivers it all. Stay tuned, and don't blink. This one could go down to the wire. The Rugby